sexual violence of men goes on in conflict. Third, the brutality of war, you see.
And as we are talking, there are multiple conflict zones across the world. And because your research and knowledge is in conflict zones and post-conflict zones and understanding health equities in different demographics of people, what do you think is happening, or in your research, what's your understanding between, in the Ukraine and Russia, that conflict zone, and in Palestine, Gaza and Israel conflict area? What are the long-term health effects and impacts, and how do you define health equities in those zones?
So one of the things that where there is protracted conflict, so there's been protracted conflict in many countries, Somalia, Sudan, South Sudan, Afghanistan, Israel-Palestine has been ongoing, Syria. So all of these protracted conflicts leads to significant trauma in the population. So there are mental health impacts that can never be measured. They can never be measured because they'll carry the scars of the trauma from childhood to adulthood. Like people lose their jobs, they lose their homes, and we can see that happening now in the current conflicts in Ukraine, fourth year, in Gaza, going on to the second year. You've seen that in Afghanistan, for decades, in Somalia, decades. South Sudan and Sudan has erupted now horrifically. I look at conflicts around the world. So Haiti is in very bad shape. There are ongoing 20 conflicts. Some are spoken about more, but some less. But all of these conflicts have huge human impacts. One is mental health. Second, sexual violence and conflict. Yes, sexual violence of women, but even sexual violence of men goes on in conflict. Third, the brutality of war, you see. So people go into war who are not soldiers. They're not actually trained soldiers. But here they're fighting a war as it's happening in Ukraine, as it's happening in other countries also. People actually fighting when they're actually not soldiers. And these has implications because you can be injured, you could lose a limb, or you could die. Then one thing we have seen is population movements. Where do people go? We saw population movements. I talked about the Rwandan conflict. We saw what happened in Bosnia. We saw what happened in Ukraine. It's women and children predominantly, because often men stay behind to fight or they're not allowed to leave. But where do people actually go? They don't want to be displaced. They don't want to live in like a tent city for years to come, as it's there in certain camps in Syria, in certain places in Sudan. And then at the same time, pregnant mothers, the elderly, those who are disabled, and children are extremely vulnerable. You can't have immunization in these countries.